What's going on, everybody? Jason here, and today I've got this 2022 Ram 1500 Rebel GT. Now, with the GT package, of course, this is brand new to the 2022 lineup, and of course there are some exterior and interior changes, and as well as to the engine, exhaust, and all of that, which I will cover in this video. First things first, as for the trim levels that you can get for the 2022 Ram 1500s, it's exactly like the 2021s, where you can get the Tradesman, Bighorn, Sport, Rebel, which you're looking at, of course, Laramie, Longhorn, and Limited. Now, if you're looking to get the GT package, there are some things to note. In order to get the GT package with the Ram Sport, you are required to get the 5.7 liter Hemi with eTorque. And it's the same thing with this truck right here, which is the Ram Rebel. Again, if you want the GT package, you are going to be required to get the 5.7 liter Hemi with the eTorque. But if you choose to go for a Laramie, this is going to be optional for you. You can still get the 5.7 liter Hemi with the eTorque, but it's not going to force you to get the GT package. It's just going to be an option that you can get. Now, when it comes to the Ram Rebel, of course, in terms of safety features, the standard ones that you're going to get are the advanced brake assist and the forward collision warning with active braking. So typically, if you were to get a Rebel, you would have the optional front and rear park assist to choose from. But because you're getting a GT, you are required to get some of the packages which you cannot click off of. For example, you're going to have to get the level 2 equipment group. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the GT package. Also, what's required if you are getting the GT Rebel is the electronic shift on demand transfer case. And also required are the rear wheelhouse liners. Now, this will not be the case if you're getting a non-GT, but with the GTs, these are the things that are required. Now, if you take a look at the front of the Ram Rebel, you cannot tell if this is a GT package or not, because it just looks exactly like a normal Rebel. So standard, obviously you're gonna get in the front are the LED lights, which look absolutely beautiful. Of course, you got that nice white little strip at the bottom. You're also gonna get the LED fog lights, of course, and then this particular truck, because again it is a GT and you are required to get the level 2 equipment group, you will have your front and rear parking sensors, which you can see near the bottom. And then, of course, it is a Rebel, so you're gonna have your tow hooks, and then the grill area, you're gonna have a kind of like a silver Ram badging with everything else blacked out, and then a front end which is a traditional Rebel look. And as for the hood on this is a standard sports performance hood that you get with the Rebels. And as you can see, you have the nice venting on both sides, which of course this is not functional, it's just for show. I wish they made it functional for the GT package, but again, it's exactly like the 2021s. And then up top, you obviously have more of kind of like the venting area with the 1500 badging and the eTorque and all of that. Now, if you take a look at the Rebel from the side, you still can't really tell if this is a GT or not, because you've still got the optional 4-corner air suspension that you can get, and this truck has. And if you're not familiar with the Ram Rebels, from the typical 1500s, they do tend to have a raised ride height, because obviously it is more of a rugged truck, off-roading truck, whatever you want to call it. And with the Rebels, you are going to be getting a 3.92 axle ratio. And of course, you can't forget about the all-terrain tires that come with the Rebels, which are the 18-inch gloss black wheels with kind of like a machined finish polish on the exterior sides around the gloss black. And you also get the traditional black side mirrors with the turn signals built in. And of course, these are power folding, which I'll show you once we enter inside of the truck. And also, this truck does have the keyless entry, of course. As for what the key looks like, it's a very traditional 1500 key. You've got your unlock, lock button. You've got your air suspension for lowering. You can only do that on the key. You can't raise it. You've also got your remote start, panic button. And on the back, you've got the nice Ram lettering. Now, I wish, because this is a GT package, that they added kind of like a GT logo somewhere. It would have kind of looked really nice. At this point, if you're looking at this truck from the side view, you can kind of tell if you look towards the bed. And yes, you do get the GT decaling on both sides. So from the exterior, that's the only thing that will kind of tell that this is a GT package, other than when you start up the truck, because you do get the Mopar cold air intake, and then of course the passive cold end exhaust, which I want to start up this truck for you in a little bit, and you'll see it does sound really nice. Now, as we make our way to the rear of the Rebel, again, you can see that nice GT decal, which is on both sides, of course, and on the back as well, you're going to get these nice looking LED lights with your sensors in the middle, of course. And with the Rebels on the rear, not only are you going to have the Rebel badging blacked out and the 4x4 badging blacked out, but also you're going to have the Ram lettering blacked out as well. And just like any of the other 1500s, you do have your backup camera built into the handle of the rear tailgate. And if you look near the bottom, just like the front, you're going to have your rear park assist sensors, and you've also got your hitch at the back, which is standard on the Rebels. Of course, you've also got your wiring for your towing and all of that ready to go right there. And here is what the passive cold end exhaust looks like in the rear. Of course, it just looks like a typical dual exhaust, but once you start this bad boy up, it makes a world of a difference, which I'll show you just in a second. Now, as we enter into the rear of the bed of the Rebel, as you can see, this is not, there's no spray-in bed line or anything like that. That is an option that you can get, of course, from the factory, or once you get the truck, you can get it after, of course, and all of that stuff. So some things that are missing on this, which typically you would find kind of on a 1500 or as an option already on the truck, would be your bed utility group. So with that, you would typically get your LED bed lighting and then your 4 adjustable tie down hooks, which this one does not have, but it still has the built-in 4 hooks. And that's pretty much it back here. Also standard with the Ram Rebels is your rear power sliding window, which is very, very convenient to have. Now, like I promised, I am gonna go ahead and start this truck up, and you're gonna see how nice it sounds, because this passive cold end exhaust is just amazing. When it comes to what powers this beast, like I mentioned, you can only get the GT package with the 5.7 liter Hemi V8 with eTorque, of course, and this is a 8-speed automatic. And just like the non-GTs, you're still gonna get 395 horsepower with 410 foot-pound of torque, and you're gonna have a max towing of about 12,750 pounds when obviously you are equipped perfectly. As we head into the rear of the Rebel, this is pretty much identical to the 2021s, of course, like I mentioned. On the door here, you've got leather pretty much everywhere, other than the bottom section, which is kind of like a hard plastic, and you've got space in the middle and of course at the bottom to put cups and stuff like that. You've got your giant speaker there. This is the 9 Alpine speaker with the subwoofer, of course. And by the door handle, I like that little trim that they have. It just makes it look a little bit different. And underneath, you've got kind of like a suede feeling material, which also feels very premium. Now, as you can see by the seats, these look very, very comfy and very, very plush, of course. These are your leather slash vinyl seats, and then I'll show you in the front as well. You can also get the traditional black and dark ruby red interior like the Rebels typically have, but I think this looks much, much cleaner because you already have a bright exterior color, but it's totally up to you, of course, how you pick and choose your colors. You've got kind of like a similar Alcantara feeling type material there, which looks really nice. It blends in and just goes with the whole interior of the truck. And in the center there, you can pull it down and kind of use it as a handrest, and even have cup holders in there when you don't have a third person in the center. And behind the driver and passenger seats, these seats are fully leather. I like how they did that. Typically on vehicles, sometimes you'll find like half leather, half plastic. This is fully leather, which is nice. And of course, you've got matte pockets on both sides. And as for a typical 1500, you can put these seats up and have a little bit more storage at the bottom. Also, what's standard with the Rebels are the in-floorage storage bins, which are very, very convenient, especially if you want to have small little items tucked away that you don't want to have within the truck. And as for the rear center console here, at the top, you've got 2 cup holders, and you've got that nice smooth material, which kind of looks like carbon fiber. Really nice, of course. And then you've got your venting at the back. Underneath, you've got a little bit of storage. You've got a ton of USB ports in this truck, of course, or any Ram truck. You've got your normal and Type-C, and then a 115 volt plug as well. Now, as we head to the driver's side of the truck, again, it's exactly like the rear door, of course. You've got the nice carbon fiber looking trim. And again, underneath, you've got that kind of like a Alcantara type feel material. You've got leather all over. You've got some plastic near the bottom. And of course, your storage in the middle and underneath as well. And as for your typical controls, you've got your window controls. You've got your power folding mirrors, like I mentioned. And then because you have the GT package, you're also gonna get memory memory driver seats. And also your side mirrors are also memory. Now, as you can see in the front of the truck, this is where the most notable differences are from a GT package compared to a non-GT. And as for the front seats, they are exactly like the rear seats. The only difference for the front ones is that you have the GT lettering. Also, with the GT package, you're gonna get under seat lighting and then your front and rear door accent lighting. Also, something unique about the GT package in the Rebel is that the front seats are ventilated seats. And if you're not getting the GT package or you're just getting the regular Rebel, you're not gonna have the option for vented seats in the front. Only heated seats in the front then. Now, in terms of the power driver seat, this is standard on the Rebels, but also because you're getting a GT package, your passenger side is also going to be the same. Now, as for your foot pedals, because you're getting the GT package, you will be getting the Mopar Bright pedal kit. And if you look above that, you do have your electronic parking brake. And with the GT package, you also get your power adjustable pedals with memory. And then in the center there, you have your hood latch release. Above all of that, you've got your controls for your lighting in the front, you've got your fog lights and all of that, and of course for the rear. And then right beside that, you have your dimmers. And as for your steering wheel, this is manual adjustable. And there's one cool thing that I really like about this that I'll show you in a second. Now, as we enter into the Rebel, you're gonna have a mixture of leather everywhere. You're gonna have soft leather, hard leather. It's gonna be all across your dashboard. And of course, you've got speakers on both corners. And in the center, you've got your subwoofer, of course, with the Alpine logo. Now, when it comes to your center gauge cluster, this is very, very traditional to any other Ram 1500, of course. And one thing that does remind me of the TRX is your Ram logo and surrounded by red and all of that. And there's a few other things that I'll show you within the truck that will remind you also of the TRX. In terms of your center gauge cluster there, you can obviously have different options in there, just like any other Ram 1500 that I've shown you. There's a bunch of different things that you can go through, which is cool to have right in front of you. So, you know, it's very convenient. Just have the buttons on your steering wheel and you can scroll through a bunch of different options. As for the steering wheel, this is a leather wrapped steering wheel, which is part of the GT package, of course. To the left of the steering wheel, you've got controls for your center gauge cluster, your Bluetooth, and something that exactly reminds me of the TRX are your paddle shifters in this. Just look how long they are. And to the right of the steering wheel, you've got controls for your cruise control settings and then obviously another paddle shifter. In the center, you've got your typical matte finish Ram head logo. To the left of the whole steering wheel, if you turn it over, you've got controls for your windshield wipers, turn signals, high beams, and all of that good stuff. And then of course, to the right of the steering wheel, you've got your start stop button right there. And underneath that, where typically you would have your rotary dial for your gear selector, you've just got a 1500 badge there. And then of course your typical axle lock, hill descent control, 4-wheel auto, 4 high, 4 low, 2-wheel drive. And then you've also got your stop start button here. One thing that I wish that they did different is where it shows the 1500, they put maybe a Rebel or GT logo or something like that. I think it would have looked really nice. And as for the center handrest, you can see it's full of leather and you've got that nice Ram head logo. And if you go ahead and open up the first section, you've got obviously just like a typical 1500, a little bit of room to put whatever you need to along with a USB port. And if you go ahead and open up the actual main section, you've got your typical carpenter measurements and all of that. And then underneath you do have a ton of storage still, even though the center section is not slidable like how they normally are on the 1500s. It is still a lot of room in there. And here is like the main difference in the front is your gear selector. Now this is exactly like you would say kind of like a Grand Cherokee TRX shifter, which I prefer having rather than the rotary knob. But hey, everyone has their own opinions. And then right beside that, you do have your cup holders. And when you close that, you do have more of that nice carbon fiber looking trim as well. And in front of all of that, you do have a little bit more room where typically you would be able to slide back and forth the center console. But because this has shifter, you can't move anything. So you do have a little bit room there. And then you've got your phone holders. It can hold up to 2 phones. And right above that, you've got more USB ports and an auxiliary port as well. And then next to that, you have a little bit room to put a phone while it's charging or something like that. Right above all of that, you've got your buttons for a bunch of different things. You've got your sensors that you can turn on and off for the front or rear. You've got your tow haul mode, traction control, and then of course your 4-corner air suspension settings as well. And if you haven't seen my 2022 Ram 1500 Limited Night Edition video, then you would know that this is a brand new system that they have in here. You still get obviously the 12-inch screen, but you get the Uconnect 5 system. And this system is much more responsive, better than the obviously older one. You got new features in this and whatnot, which I'll cover. So with having the 12-inch screen, you kind of have an advantage, because if you go to my pages, you can add more pages and you can kind of select the layout that you want. Kind of cool that they put that in here. And if you go into media, you've got your typical AM, FM, Sirius XM settings, and then this also has the capability of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly. Next to that, you've got your comfort settings where you can control your heating and cooling, or you can choose the hard buttons on the side of the screen. And also on the touchscreen, you can do your heated seats, vented seats, and heated steering wheel. And of course, you can't forget about having a full screen navigation. And you also have the option now to have it 3D. Next to that, you've got your phone settings. If you want to pair your phone connected and whatever you need to do, you've got that setting. Right next to that, you've got your vehicle settings. And in here, you'll notice you've got performance and controls. For controls, you've got your obviously rear view dimmable mirror, and then your rear view camera, which is a traditional camera. On these ones, you don't have your 360 or any others. But if we go into performance, similar to the TRX, of course, and you go ahead and press launch performance pages, you can actually do the same things that you would do in a TRX. So you can go ahead and look at your timers if for whatever reason you want to go ahead and do that. You've got your gauges, of course. It shows you obviously different gauges. Your dyno engine settings, if you want to dyno this GT. You've also got your G-force pages, which you can see exactly what you're doing and how many G's you're pulling. And then of course, you've got your vehicle dynamics section as well. And last but not least, on the screen, you've got your apps, of course. And then if you go into all, you can go through a bunch of different apps, of course. And you've got built-in Alexa now. Also, what you'll notice is that little bar at the top where it shows your time and temperature. Those items are touchable, so it will bring out like a shortcut menu if you press whichever one. And right above your 12-inch screen, you've got more of that carbon fiber looking trim, of course, and then you've got a little bit of room right up top with a 12-volt adapter and then a Ram logo right there. Above all of that, you've got your rear view dimmable mirror, very traditional, of course. Above that, you've got your lighting for interior. You've also got your assist and SOS buttons, and then your button to open up your rear power sliding window. This one does not have the dual panoramic sunroof. However, you can get that as an extra option. And if we go over to the passenger side, you've got your traditional glove compartment where you have room to put, small little booklets and stuff like that. But if that gets full, you can go above that and open up the other section to it, which is a little bit smaller, I guess, but you can still have more room to put whatever you need to. So you have two sections. Once you go ahead and close that, you've got the nice Rebel badging right there. And here is the window sticker for this 2022 Ram 1500 Rebel GT. You can see on the left side, you've got your exterior colors, interior, engine, and that typical stuff. Below that, you've got your standard equipment that comes with the truck already. And right below that, you'll have your optional equipment. Again, you can see it has the GT package, level 2 equipment group, and a bunch of other options. And with everything included, you've got your total price, of course. Now, this is minus any dealer discounts or manufacturing discounts, and this price is in Canadian dollars. And that's it for this amazing looking 2022 Ram 1500 Rebel GT. Let me know in the comments down below, do you love this truck or do you hate it?